So what happens when you allow members to freeze for free? It's really easy for them not to come back. That freeze will just go on forever. When they're getting charged, they have a start date, they have an end date. They kind of have to come back because you're still charging them. It's all about communication and making sure that you have a rock solid system in place.
A lot of times I say people in fitness feel weird about charging. It's because we're selling the invisible. We're just selling these invisible things in your body called calories. We're going to burn them off and we're going to make them go away. And so like we can't see it, we can't touch it. For some reason, tangible feels good to charge for, intangible feels weird to charge for. We're selling something invisible. And so like we have to come to terms with that. Or don't feel guilty charging your members for challenges, right? Like get them in it. That's a place that's hidden money. Do I think you should charge for it now? You know, we're at the tail end of the year. No, but save that bullet in your gun for the new year.
Any add-on, every gym owner, just don't do it for free and don't devalue yourself for anything you're adding on. Do not make it cheap or free. It's a premium service. It is an add-on, so you want to charge accordingly.
This is the Reinforce Your Gym podcast with your host, Dustin Bogle. This show is about arming gym owners with the tools, strategies, and lessons they need to take their business to the next level. That way, they can make a greater impact in their community. Now, let's get to work and reinforce your gym.
Welcome, gym owners, to another episode of the Reinforce Your Gym podcast. I say that because if you're not a gym owner, why the heck are you listening to this podcast? Turn it off. Like, this is all for gym owners. So we have 3 gym owners on the call today. Myself, Dustin Bogle, and then we got Kim Schneider and Jason Matthias. And so we're assembling to talk about this awesome topic because we want to help you guys bring in more money. So we are talking about hidden place to find money in your gym today, right now. You don't got to wait. You don't got to plan. It's there. We just want to help you see it because it's probably something you just don't see right now. And we got a bunch of them. So I actually want to just jump right into it because I want to get you guys value as fast as possible. So my favorite one that I'm starting out hot, is gym owners switching from monthly billing to weekly billing. It sounds like a kind of like thing, but I'm going to just work some math here. I'm going to go with an average membership. Okay, it's $200 a month for 12 months. That's pretty easy math. We know it's going to come out to $2,400, right? If I do 12 monthly billings. Now let's break that into a $50 rate. If I do $50 and I multiply that by 52 weeks of the year, I actually bring in $2,600. Okay, $200 difference. Where did that come from? Well, most people don't know there's a 13th month on our calendar, and that's because 4 times a year there is 5 weeks in the month. So when we add all those up, there's this invisible 13th month we don't realize. Guess what, gym owners? What you're doing on that 5th week, you're paying out more payroll and you're not bringing in more income. And you might have noticed on your P&Ls, whoa, why did our profit kind of take a hit? Well, it was a 5-week month. You had 5 weeks of expenses. You had 4 weeks of revenue. And so we need to match the money going out with the money coming in to offset that. And this will really help you guys. So like, this is gold. I cannot state it enough. I hope everybody immediately does this moving forward because I know how much money it'll make you lifetime, not just like this year, just the rest of the time you're running the gym. And just to kind of pack a little bit more punch, I'm also going to multiply this by how many members. So we noticed that it's a $200 discount, right? $2,400 if I bill monthly, $2,600 if I bill weekly, $200, okay? But now, guys, let's multiply this over you having 200 members. Again, I'm just picking a number out of the blue. You gave yourself a $40,000 annual raise. That's money in your pocket. I gave you a $40,000 raise right now with this one tip. If this doesn't get you to go give our podcast a 5-star review, I don't know what else to do. Right? I just gave you a $40,000 check. So like, that's why we're so high on weekly billing. So I'll get off my soapbox. Kim, anything else you want to say on this, but it just me fired up. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I get pretty fired up about weekly billing too. Honestly, it's something that I didn't open my gym with, but then I very quickly jumped on the weekly billing train in 2019. And the other bonuses, other than what you're saying, is you get a payroll boost, like you said, because now the money that's coming in on a weekly basis helps pay for your payroll. The amount of owners that I talk to that are like struggling to make payroll on a weekly basis because they're only getting a cash influx once a month. So by the time like the week before everybody's charges, they're like, I don't have enough money in my account to pay payroll. So charge everybody weekly. The money coming in weekly is going to help the money going out weekly. It's also just easier to sell a membership. Like I tell people all the time, my membership is $42 a week. And they go, oh, okay. If I told them it's $182 a month, they're going to go, that's too expensive. So it's all the way the brain thinks about money as well. So totally on board with the weekly billing. It's going to help you, in other areas as well.
Love it. And the only other question I want to answer on that we get is like, should I go change all my members immediately? And my answer is no. Like you've sold your members already on monthly. Don't like change your word on them, but you can absolutely change it for everyone moving forward. And as time goes on and old people turn out and new people turn in, before you know it, all your members are on weekly billing. And just like your situation, you get open with that, but you got on board. That is the easy solution. So yeah, that's that. Jason, anything you would add on that topic?
Yeah, I love Kim's analogy too of like a lot of times if we set all of our memberships process on the first, right, we have that big influx of cash. And within a couple weeks, I mean, let's face it, the average gym owner, we're just not number crunchers, right? We're just not CPAs, right? And so at the beginning of the month, it's that toothpaste analogy, right? So at the end of the month, we're trying to squeeze a little bit more out of that tube of toothpaste to the money that was left from the first, that big deposit. And so that's when we run into issues. So this way, if we're not a financial guru, which I'm sure you're probably not because you own a gym, right? But it's jokingly said, it gives you a steady influx of revenue throughout. And so, yeah, it's something you can phase in, even if you're all current monthly right now. That's okay. Bring everybody in going forward on weekly. Like even our agreements, everything says weekly on the top. We do give them a monthly option, but that's only if they ask. I mean, everything we tell people is just weekly installments. So this way you're not having to you don't have to figure out like a prorated charge to get you from the 13th to the 30th, start them on the 3rd. It doesn't matter. Just get everybody on weekly. I can't tell you how easy it is. And the number one thing I noticed when we implemented was the decrease in past dues. So like Kim said, if you're hitting people for $150, $185 a month, you're much higher percentage of failed payments, insufficient funds and things like that. You're hitting them with smaller payments. We cut ours about 70% our past dues. So rather than having a huge pile to go through, now we just have a few here and there. And typically the past dues we get now are just because people's cards expired. So typically most working adults are going to have 30 or 35 or $40 in their bank account on a weekly basis. So you just reduced your workload of paying bill collector, which sucks.
And I'm going to add one more point, then we'll move on, which is when people need to cut bills because they hit financial tough times, how do they do it? They start at the biggest one and they work their way down. So if you're $200, $300, $400 a month, you're going to probably be in that bigger criteria. I mean, that's, like for some people, that's going to be the number that's going to make them want to cancel. When you sneak in weekly, this is like them getting down to like a meal out, right? They're going to just skim past a $40 or $50 weekly payment because they're looking for the big number. So you're kind of hiding out a little bit in that and alleviating people seeing this big number like, oh, that's got to go. That's a big number, And we all know most of the people we train are spouses. So sometimes they even get that spouse pressure where the spouse will see the number and say, oh, I don't see the value. Cancel that, honey. Because they're not in your gym training with you. The person going there sees the value. Of course, it's easy for them to say, cut it. And the bigger the number, the more they can be a negative influence and pressure them to cancel. So that's that. But we got a big list. So I'm going to keep pressing on. Guys, again, I can't stress that enough. Get on weekly billing. It will be great. And between me, Kim, and Jason, we know hundreds of owners on it. This isn't like we're the only 3 owners doing it. We know hundreds of owners. Any fear you have, we can tell you it doesn't exist because we know hundreds of owners that are doing it. So, all right, we're going to move on. Next place that you can find hidden money is, I love the phrase, the best place to find new business is old business. And so what I mean by that is your members. Your members are waiting to hand you money. You are just not providing any more solutions for them. There are problems that they are dealing with that are outside of your normal service offering that you just simply are not offering a way to solve it. So then they can't give you more money, right? And if you can open up that pathway, boom, they can hand you more money. So what am I talking about? Some people want more higher touch point, more attention, and they don't want to be in a large group if you do large groups. So what I'm saying is you can have a one-on-one personal training offer and you can have a small group offer. That is something I guarantee you, every owner I've helped launch small group and their large group training model has sold out, and the clients were like fiending for it, especially if you've been around for years. Large group works really well, like as time goes on, when they're like 4 or 5 plus years in business. usually the clients are conditioned where they need a new challenge. And if you don't offer it, they're going to go somewhere else. So you want to keep it in-house. And yes, you can change your programming. Yes, you can do a lot of things, but like just packaging it in a whole new bundle does a lot of good. And when you make the experience very different and make them feel it, they'll happily pay it to get more attention from that coach. So these are membership add-ons. If someone's good with it, they could also provide nutrition coaching. I tend to find that's a little bit harder in our world because I find the coaches come in three groups. There's either like they love the training and the fitness and that, and then there's the ones that love the nutrition coaching, and then there's the third that is the unicorns that like both. And so in a gym, most people who are applying love the fitness side of things. You don't tend to find a lot of nutrition coaches applying to work in a gym. They do happen. I'm not saying that's a blanket statement, but it's a little bit more rare, and that's why it's a little bit harder to sell that as a membership add-on. I know for us, logically, it makes sense, but to me, it's the hardest one to fulfill on. I'd rather just give them more of what they're already paying for, which is more fitness. They're already paying for your large group or your open access gym. Now sell them one-on-one or small group fitness. Like give them more of that versus trying to sidestep into a whole nother realm and try to figure out that whole game, right? Another final easy one, and then you guys can chime in, is a family add-on. Like, why are you not going to your members and saying, do you want to add your spouse or your kids or your sister to this? If you have some sort of family add-on pricing that's slightly discounted, some gyms discount it, some don't. But like, when's the last time you asked that, right? Or opened up that pathway or that conversation? These are just easy, member add-ons. So what else can we add into this, or anything you would add? I know you do really well when it comes to like a member add-on. It could also be like a challenge, right? A member challenge that you run and charge them to be in that.
So my space is actually, we would love to do small group, but the way that we're structured with my space, we kind of have a small space, 2,000 square feet. So we can't get that going yet, but instead we are doing personal training. Because we have some time between classes, the morning, the afternoon. So we've added on personal training, which has done really, really well. It's helped the coaches make a little extra money also, which is beneficial for them because now they're going to stay on. It's helping the members with their goals, with their gains, with everything that they want to practice, which obviously then keeps them on as members and it brings more money in for the business. Something about the nutrition, I'm lucky enough, I'm blessed. My head coach that I started with, she became a CNS in her last couple of years with me, so I do have that. But I also know some gym owners who don't have a nutritionist on staff who want to provide nutrition services. And what they've done is they found somebody local to pair up with, kind of like an affiliate program or a referral program where, they're referring their own clients to them for nutrition, and that nutritionist is giving them a kickback. So that could be a way that you can do it if you do want to give your people, additional nutrition services. Do you have someone local, or even if they're not local, do you have someone that you can find who's willing to work with you, even if they Zoom with your clients? So that could be a way to do it too. And then finally, workshops. This is something that we're keeping going. And yes, we do provide free workshops for our clients, but there's also workshops that you can charge for. It doesn't have to be a lot, of extra money, but it's all those little things. All those little things add up. And then one last one I just thought of, because we just started this as well, is we're doing Sunday kids classes now. So if it's something like, a lot of our members started asking for it. So I have a coach who's running it. And again, all these little things add up over the course of a day, the weeks, the months, and, bring extra money into your business and provide extra value. So those are some of the things that we're doing.
Okay. Jason, how about for you? Anything you would add on this bucket?
Yeah. I mean, a really good inclusive list of services. But my word of caution, if you listen to this podcast, is just make sure you have the resources available to implement the program. Because I've seen some gym owners, especially some smaller operations, where they say, "Hey, I'm going to pull the trigger and do small group PT." The coach they were counting on is gone a few weeks later, and all of a sudden now they're stuck trying to manage 4 different groups in small group personal training. So make sure you have a team in place. I mean, that's a big thing. So if you're like, "Hey, I want to add personal training," make sure it's not adding something onto your plate physically, especially if you're down to, even if you just have a couple coaches on staff, you're like, "Hey, I'm going to take this on," but also at the same time, think about what that might take you away from. Okay. So you want to make sure that you have a word of caution, make sure you have a staff to do it. Or for something you want to take on, you're like, "Hey, I could take on a couple midday clients," but make sure you have clear barriers and you can go to your member and say, "Hey, I have 2 openings. I can take a one-on-one client 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. and that's it. Make it exclusive and small, and people will probably naturally fight to get that spot, and then you can almost name your price. So any type of these add-ons, I would think is always try to give them like a red velvet rope type of feel, where it's, hey, we're going to add this, but I'm only going to take 2 people, or we're only going to take 5 people for this service. And so this way, obviously, it allows you to increase your pricing. But for any add-on, every gym owner, just don't do it for free and don't devalue yourself. Which is one thing from the teaching of Bogle. It is do not devalue yourself. So, I mean, that's the big thing you want to think of for anything you're adding on. Do not make it cheap or free. Is a premium service. It is an add-on. So you want to charge accordingly.
And I love that you're highlighting use the scarcity, because I want you to sell out every time you open up the opportunity, right? So you're like, I take 2 PT clients, it sells out. You should tell everybody this. A lot of owners won't. And then they're trying to be humble, but like, this is good for you, because the minute a PT drops out, you announce this and you're going to have a feeding frenzy, right? Or you decide to open a 3rd spot, and like, selling out is good. I'd say you should always find a way to somehow language that you sold out, so that you become a very hot commodity, right? One other one I'd add into there, well, actually, we got a few when it comes to members. So the challenge registration fees, a lot of owners feel like guilty charging them more money on top of their membership. But what I try to tell them is like, you're also giving more service. So like, nobody should work for free. So like, if you agreed on this, a weekly rate to deliver the baseline of service, then we've already agreed upon that. So why should you do more, which we say to do in a challenge? You're doing more nutrition coaching, you're doing more accountability, you're doing weigh-ins, you're providing more education, you're holding everyone accountable in a group chat. Like, you're doing all this extra work, and then the clients just like, they get it and they don't pay anything more. Like, number one, they're not going to think it's very good. Number two, your compliance is going to be really low, because people who pay attention. So if you say, I'm going to be different, I'm going to give all my members access to this challenge, I guarantee only 30% or less will be active in the challenge and follow it all the way to the through line. Where your people who pay, you'll see them follow it all the way to the end, right? So like, these are the reasons why you want to pay. And if it helps you feel better about it, add in a tangible good. Say, hey, when you join the challenge, you also get this gratitude journal, or you get this t-shirt, or you get this shaker cup, or you get this branded sweat towel, whatever makes you feel good that you're charging them, and they have to cover the cost of what you got this thing for. Add tangible. A lot of times I say people in fitness feel weird about charging. It's because we're selling the invisible. We're just selling that these invisible things in your body called calories, or we're going to burn them off and we're going to make them go away. And so like, we can't see it, we can't touch it. And then it feels bad. Not like when we sell an iPad, we would never give that for free. We're like, no, you know how much these materials cost? Or when we sell a car or whatever, like, for some reason, tangible feels good to charge for, intangible feels weird to charge for. We're selling something invisible. And so like, we have to come to terms with that. But there's many examples of people are doing something that you can't see and touch, but they charge a lot, such as business coaching, right? Like, people pay a lot of things and they don't get any tangible stuff, but they know they're going to grow their business. They're paying for the knowledge and the experience and the guidance. So like, don't charge don't feel guilty charging your members for challenges, right? Like, get them in it, and that's a place that's hidden money. Do I think you should charge for it now? We're at the tail end of the year. No, but save that bullet in your gun for the new year, right? Like, that's where you want to pull that trigger and ask the members to get on board with that, right? I guess the final thing I would say on that is, you could also upsell them, right? You could say, you're in large group, we're going to get you into PT, we're going to get you into small group. You can upsell them as well, and that's another source of hidden fees or hidden money. Kim, I want to pick your brain, because I know you got a special fee called the annual facility,
Yeah.
right? So like, tell me about that. What do you charge? What do the clients get for this annual fee?
So when I first opened in 2019, we didn't charge the annual fee. And I think, there's a lot of things, like the things we're talking about, a lot of these things are completely normal in big box gyms. People are used to seeing them. But for some reason, there's something that happens with the boutique style gym is we open and we're told, you can't do that. You can't charge that. People are going to get upset. But what makes us different? If anything, we're operating, with more care, with more expenses. We're hiring, better qualified people. We're paying them more money, but then we're not charging for these things. So the annual fee is something that I started again, and I opened in 2019. we started charging in 2021, and we basically called it the annual. It could be an annual maintenance fee. You could call it an facility upgrade fee. But the idea is most gyms charge an annual fee. They charge you up front when you join. The way that I do it is we charge everybody all at once on October 15th, regardless of when you join. And what happens is with that lump sum of money, now we're able to put it back into the gym. And that's what we tell people. We always, always, always buy something that they can see with it. We don't use 100% for, but we'll buy a new equipment. We'll hire a new team member. This year, for some reason, people keep smashing my walls. So we've had a few repairs going on this year, but we put it back into the gym. And I think the important thing to mention with all of these things is don't be afraid to get these things going. These are conversations I have with gym owners all the time, and they just say, no, I can't do that. People will get mad. I can't charge an annual fee. People will get mad. We're going to talk about some other fees that they say they're going to get mad at. And the main thing is just communicate why you're now charging an annual fee. We started charging everybody, even though it wasn't on their agreement. Like, we didn't just do it for new members the same way that we were talking about transitioning weekly billing to. Every member I have, I said, hey, as of this date, I gave them like 6 months heads up. We're going to start charging an annual fee. And at the time, it was really easy to explain because we said things are getting to be more expensive. The cost of business is more expensive. You guys feel it, out there in the world, everything's more expensive, especially it was right after COVID. So when we put it out there, we explained what the annual fee was going to be, what it was going to help us do, what we were going to do with it, and why. And I don't think we had one. I think I had one person who needed to have a conversation about it. And everyone else was just like, yep, that makes total sense. So as long as you communicate, you give them enough time when you're changing something, they're going to be just fine. But the annual fee is something that really was a huge boost. And especially at this time of year when we do it, it's kind of perfect timing, to get that sun. Oh, I do $39. So I $39. Nobody's going to get upset for you to be charging an extra over $40 a year. If you're doing a really good job with people and they are bought into your business, your team, your community, your mission, and you're adding value to their life, I can promise you nobody's going to quit your gym because you start charging them $40 a year extra. Like, it's not going to happen.
So I just did some quick math on 200 members. That's almost 8K. It's 7,800. So I already gave a 40,000 raise. Kim and Jason do this. They give you another 10,000. We're already at 50,000 in your pocket. But on this one, we say this shouldn't just be a money grab. You take the money and you laugh all the way to the bank. Like, actually put it. It is a facility upgrade. Repaint things, fix holes in the wall, buy new equipment. Like, let them see it, because then I think they would gripe if they're like, well, I get billed, but then the next month the gym's identical. Nothing's been upgraded. What's this fee? Now they're gonna feel nickel and dime, right?
Yeah.
But Jason, I guess how do you do this fee? Like, kind of chime in on yours.
Yeah, we've done it. I think we actually started during the COVID year as actually when we started doing it, because we did some upgrades to do flooring and stuff. But yeah, like Kim says, as long as you communicate the why, that's all that matters. As long as you tell them it's going to benefit them directly. Same thing, hundreds of members over 2 locations. I've had 0 complaints, right? Because it's a matter of, we spend about 6 weeks really over communicating, telling people what's coming. We show them pictures of what's coming, like, hey, this is the new rack we're going to buy, or, we're going to get rid of these kettlebells. We're going to have brand new kettlebells on the floor. So like, we added skiers, paid for 5 brand new skiers in our facility with it, so those aren't cheap, as you know. And so there again, they had this new thing in the gym, and it was almost like a Christmas feel, but they all kind of chipped in. And so it's kind of like crowdsourcing for your gym. It's amazing, right? Go to your investors who are your members in your gym. You're just going to them, crowdsourcing, and then doing it. One other piece that I always make sure I include to our members is this, and you can steal this, of course, is making sure that when you tell them the why, I also say that, hey, you look around you, like Netflix, every subscription, everything always raise their rates, but we never raise our rates once a member is a member, right? And so that's what we tell them. Facility upgrade fee offsets our need to compensate for rising costs. So rather than us increasing your monthly membership by 10 or 15 bucks, all you got to do is this annual facility upgrade fee. And that's all we need to thrive and make this an amazing place to work out, right? So position yourself at the giving hand. And so that's one thing we always say is, and there again, over 8 years doing this, we've never raised a membership rate once you're in our building. And I tell people we can do that because of this annual facility upgrade. And it's no questions asked. You're like, well, shit, just do the math in your head, right? If you raise my rate by $10 a month, as opposed to this, I'd much rather be part of the upgrade fee. So you can implement it even if it's not in their agreement, as long as you tell them why and communicate. It's that simple.
Does. All right. Well, that's all good advice. We have a couple others that pertain to clients, and that is a freeze fee and an early termination fee. So, Kim, I think you do the free, right? So go ahead and chime in on that. Gym owners are gonna be afraid. People are gonna be upset.
Oh, yeah.
Message it so that they receive that, fee with understanding.
Yeah. So like we talked about in the beginning of this call, we do weekly, but we do it a week. Now, I didn't used to do this. Again, this is one of those things like I didn't open with any additional fees, but I've slowly added them in over the years. And there's some bonuses to doing this. Number one, you say, hey, we're going to hold your membership where it is. It's $5 a week to freeze. Most big gyms, again, they're going to charge you monthly. So you're paying for your 30 days. If you are going away for a week or two, you either have to decide to freeze your account for the entire 30 days. And most of the time they're going to charge you $30 or so, or you don't freeze your account and then you're paying for weeks that you're not coming. So that's how we spun it to the members of now, with the weekly billing, now we can be more flexible with freezes. So the two kind of go hand in hand in that way. We started charging for freezes because people, like you said before, people don't value things that they're not paying for. So what happens when you allow members to freeze for free? It's really easy for them not to come back. That freeze will just go on forever. When they're getting charged that $5 a week, they have a start date, they have an end date. They kind of have to come back because you're still charging them. So again, it's all about communication and making sure that you have a rock solid system in place. They request the freeze. We approve it. We send them a message that said your freeze is going to start on this day. It's going to end on this day. And then your regular weekly charges will begin again on this day. So those are all the things that you need to have: the start date, the end date, and then over communicate everything. But yeah, we only allow, we waive the fee only for very serious medical. So that is very like injuries, pregnancy, life altering illnesses, COVID, flu, I'm sick and I have a migraine. None of that counts. You're still paying the $5 a week. So that's how we run our freezes.
Okay. I love it. Jason, how about for you, man? How do you do cancels, early termination fees, like what I call it? And then you have a freeze fee as well. Gym owners, let's be real. You don't love lead follow-up, and that's why I started Gym Reinforcement, so you can pass it over to us, because that's probably not why you started a gym. That's not what you love to do in business, is to chase leads down all day long. Well, hey, hand that over to me and my team of remote sales reps. We're going to text them, call them, email them, social media, DM them. We're going to do all the channels so that you don't got to worry about it, and they're going to get reached out to quickly. And that is what we do at Gym Reinforcements. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of AI and bots and automations out there that can reach out to your leads, but let's be honest, it's not very good, and people could tell right away. You probably would rather to have human to human customer service from start to finish, meaning from when they opt in to when they get serviced by your coaches. We want to have that exist throughout the whole client journey. So let us step in, let us engage your leads, let us sell them for you. And that way you can do what you do best and serve them and get them results. So if you want to book a call, go to gymreinforcements.com and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, so that's a big thing, is Kim just hit on the end, was, making sure you always have some kind of medical exemption, right? So, I mean, that's always going to be the trump card. You always want to make sure that you have that goodwill with them, right? So obviously if you have to go under for surgery or something like that, we don't charge for any type of freeze fee if they bring in a medical note or have a planned surgery, things like that. But yeah, if they're just going to be, putting on a freeze because their kids in football season or something like that, then absolutely got to make sure you implement that freeze fee. And then we limit that to no more than 2 calendar months per year as well too. So make sure you have a limit per calendar year on the ability for someone to freeze an account. And so one thing we did years ago is we switched to a 60-day cancellation notice. And what we had found is that positively impacted how many people ended up canceling their cancellation notice. So they got, there again, people overreact, something bad happened. And like Dustin, you said, what's the first thing they want to do is quit the gym. And so what they did is they kind of send that freak out email and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to cancel my gym membership. And I'm like, okay, 60-day notice. You got 2 more installments. And what we had found was after that kind of turbulence wound down in their life, they would actually reach back out and say, forget about the cancellation notice. I got everything figured out. I'm good to go. And so we kind of overcame that initial anxiety, which is well founded because obviously things come up in our lives, financial, family emergencies, things like that. But it was a matter of like when we went to a 60-day notice, we had found that actually reduced the amount of cancellations that actually be followed through because they had a full 2 months to overcome whatever happened, or their spouse might have found a new job. They rethought things, they moved their schedule around. Now they can keep coming to, boot camp again, So yeah, we went to a 60-day notice and we've never got a pushback because we do make that clear when they do sign up that it's a 60-day notice. But yeah, 30-day, 60-day, never allow a clean break without any type of notice or termination fee unless there's something drastic, like husband passed away. I mean, you got to be human about it. But if they're just like, hey, it's football season, I'm going to miss a month, absolutely got to have some type of freeze fee.
Yes. So like the way that we did the cancels, 30-day notice basically replaces the cancellation fee. Some gyms say if you cancel early before your contract's over, you owe us $200, $300, $500. So what we are trying to do in that time is, sure, we want to collect that final month, but we're really trying to re-spark the relationship because that's usually why the person's leaving, is that the results have stopped happening. And that's why most people hire a trainer. Like, yes, relationships are good. Yes, community is good, but the first thing is always results. I want to change my body. Can you do it? Yes. Okay, I trust you. Let's go. And at some point it doesn't happen. Now we can't make the person eat the food. There are no guaranteed results, but like, how often are we checking in? I think that's what they're really looking for, is like, if you're doing your job and you're checking in a whole lot and I'm not doing my part, it's all on me. But if I also haven't heard from you in months and I'm not getting results, I will start to point the finger a little bit at you too, right? Whether we can say that that's right, that's an argument, for another time. But like, that's how they're thinking. So always bringing it back to results. When they cancel, just say, no, it's 30-day notice. I'm not trying to fight you or stop you. I'm going to go with your request, but then I am going to present an idea. Like, hey, what do you say we go hard for the next 8 weeks? You and me, I'm going to go harder on accountability and pushing you, and you're going to go harder on your diet and your intensity when you're here in the gym. And I'm actually, trying to expand this from 30 days to 60 days. What do you say we do that? And, again, we teach this in GR. We call it the Respark program. What do you say we do that? And then if I, re-earn your trust and you get the results you're looking for, you stay. If, it doesn't work out, I'll totally, you can walk at that point and I won't be mad because I know we gave it our best shot. What do you say? Right. And I'm trying to like re-spark that fire that was once there when they first signed up. At some point that fire has been burnt out and I want to bring it back. Right. So that is like how we do it. So again, owners, do you just process a cancellation? I had an owner with an autoresponder that just said, click here to process cancellation. Every time I send a blast email, because surprise, surprise, I got a list of gym owners that we market to. I could expect it every time. I'm like, here it goes. Send out my email. Here comes that autoresponder. If you want to cancel your membership, click here. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't imagine what their attrition looks like. So these are things that we don't want to do. We want to make the termination fee. Yes, we're talking about hidden money. This is a way for you to get money, but bigger win would be you keep them for many, many months. And that's the hidden money, is that you retain the client for months, right? So I'm going to go to a little bit more of a controversial one. Another place to find hidden money is to cut your payroll. And I know that that's not fun to do, but when sessions are slow, you have to have a red line to where you cannot justify keeping that session going, right? And I've had it where for some reason the session had 30 people, this thing was slamming, and it's dropped to 6. And like, things just have, people go to other sessions. There's the seasonality, when the time changes in the winter and it gets dark earlier. People don't come as much to evening sessions in my experience. And then it flips in the summer when the days are extended. People are at evening sessions because they can walk out of the gym at 7 or 8 p.m. and the sun's still out, right? So like, people just go through seasonalities of motivation, the time changes. Like definitely, I think the coach sometimes has something to do with it. Like the quality of the coach will depend on the attendance. So traffic, again, there's lots of factors, but when a session has hit below your red line and it's been like that for an extended period of time, for me, that's like 3 or 4 weeks. It's probably not coming up anytime soon. So you either got to like slog through it, or we got to cut some payroll because it just doesn't make sense financially, right? The attendance is not there. And if you do group training, by you cutting that session, the people will then go to the session before it and after it and grow those to be busier and more, fun because there's just more people in it, right? So like that's not a fun one. I know people don't like to do that unless they have to, but like I spoke with the gym owner, I won't say who, but like they had one location, 13 coaches running, per day. I think they had 7 sessions per day. So whatever that is over a week. And it was just like, we need to have a payroll talk. And when I found out what their payroll was and then they said that they were like bleeding money, I said, I think we found the problem. Like it's the payroll. Like you have too much. And where we as gym owners, I think this comes up is we're often are people pleasers and we want to help people and we will want to help people make more money and our coaches ask for more hours and it's just yes, 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 yes. And then guess what? You end up eating all that crap, right? So like this is a time that you gotta, unfortunately make that call. But I do believe in telling everybody and I mean the team and the clients, hey coach, this is your 3-week notice. If this doesn't go up in attendance, unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut this, right? And like that way they don't get like a light switch, their hours change, they have time to prepare. Clients, hey, this session's been lightly attended. Our policy is if it goes below this number for a certain amount of time, unfortunately, we have to axe it and maybe we can revisit it next, season. Like we've done spring session times, we've done summer, we've done winter. Like you can blame it on the season and that you'll bring it back. And if they are not there, they're not there, right? So that's that. Kim, like what is your take on this? Have you ever had to make this tough decision and cut sessions?
So I haven't cut a session, but I have my how many coaches we have. Typically we have 2 per session, but that can ebb and flow as well. So what we will do sometimes is if we see a pattern in a particular session getting less attended, in that case, we may say to the 2 coaches that are running it, hey, we really only need 1 person to run it right now, especially year after year, you see patterns. Like I'm always a person that sees patterns. So if you know it's coming, then you can plan for it. This is also an opportunity to kind of go back to what we were saying before is if you are cutting somebody's hours because maybe now you don't need both of them, can they rotate? And then what else can that person do that is income generating? So can that person take a different time of the day where there isn't anybody in the gym and do personal training sessions instead, where they're still going to make money so they won't leave? Because that's always the fear. If you cut them too much, they're going to leave. What else can they do instead that's income generating? Or what else can they do instead that's going to be focused on retention, which again is indirectly income, related, generating as well. So I haven't had to cut a session. We've almost come close, but it ended up picking back up. But I have tweaked my coaches, hours a little bit. And I think that's something that you just kind of always have to be open to.
Yes. It's the thing that it can get out of control fast if you don't keep your
Yeah.
eye. So yes, definitely something to be mindful of. All right, I'm gonna proceed to past members being a place of hidden money. Like we get so fixated on new leads, new leads, new leads that we pointed out earlier in this episode, your members are a source of revenue. But I also want to tell you, don't turn your eye away from your past members. They know and like and trust you and they've paid your membership rates. They know where you're located. They kind of know how the whole system works. They just need an awesome offer and a reason to come back. And so if you've done any, like if you did the facility upgrade, you upgraded the gym and you got new equipment, come check it out. We got new toys, quote unquote, for our workouts. Or if you got a new coach with amazing credentials, or you got a new service offering, or you just want to give them a second chance to come in and see what you're doing. It doesn't have to always be new, but reach out to them and make them an amazing offer to come back, right? Like a secret menu item, not something they would see on the ads, not something they see in the email blast, something they privately have been messaged and told, because you're a past member, you get this, and we're not giving it to anyone else, right? That's my favorite thing to do. So obviously, like again, being like specific about the time of the year you reach out to them, like when is the motivation to get fit the highest? That's when you should reach out to your past members. Should you send them a December special? Probably not. But wait just a month, New Year's is there, and then the motivation's high, right? Or getting fit for summer, you can make them an offer in the spring, or when kids go back to school. These are the times that you want to like save those bullets in your gun and use them, like at the right time and be strategic about it. So like that's another place that again, I see too many owners not leverage They're past members, and you collect a lot. The longer you're in business, it's hard to get into hundreds and hundreds. If you're open gym, I mean, they'll rotate through thousands of people through the years. So go make them an offer. Instead of chasing new leads, again, back to that phrase, the best place to find new business is old business. That's some old business, right? They're no longer with you, but you got them to the peak level of transaction. Go reactivate that, right? And get them back on board. So Kim, what is, I guess, some ways that you reactivate past members? Any good offers that have worked for you in the past?
Yeah, we do past member reactivation campaigns, like you said, a few times a year. We typically do one on Black Friday. So like right now, we're actually using the buy the rest of 2024 for $24 a week to reactivate some old members. And we've already got takers on that. Last Black Friday, we did buy 2 months, get 1 month free. And we got about, I think about a dozen people back on that. And then, like you said, we do one in the springtime as well, kind of as a get fit for summer. And then we kind of see how the year is going. So typically we will do it 2 or 3 times a year. You don't want to do it too much. But I think the main thing to remember is people quit for different reasons. Sometimes life changes and then it changes again. And people need a reach out. I think a lot of owners think like, well, if they wanted to come back, they would reach out to me. No, not always true. We've reached out to people so many times. The amount of times I will hear, I am so glad you reached out. I've been thinking about you guys for months and wanting to come back. But people have this sense of like fear almost that you're going to be upset with them because they will come back and say, I'm so sorry I canceled the first time. Hey, you're human. Things happen. It's okay. We're just happy to have you back in. So it's really important to reach out to people, let them know, hey, we're thinking of you. And like you said, either you have a new program or you have a new offer or it's a time of year, reach out to them. We're thinking of you. What are you doing with your health and fitness? We want to offer you this very special deal that we're only offering you. And I think you'll be surprised at what the response is that you get back and how many people you get back in. And even if you just get a handful, that's a handful more people that you didn't have before.
Yes. No, I love that. And yeah, you're right. It's important to keep notes because you go send them this New Year's special and they're like, I moved to another state. Why are you sending
Yeah.
me? So it's like, yeah, as with anything in fitness, the personal touch goes a long way. So just don't cram people into one category and blast it out. You're going to just like burn your goodwill, right? Like make notes of why people left and tailor it to them, right? So, all right, we're going to move on to another source of hidden money for gym owners, and that is affiliate payouts. Okay. What are businesses that you can partner up with that can pay you a check every single month? They do exist. I promise you, because I have multiple of them set up. So number one, a massage therapist. We negotiated with a massage therapist. She would charge $100. She would keep 80 and she'd give us $20. Is it a gigantic amount of money? No. Every month, I think we get $160 to $300, somewhere in that neighborhood. But this is money I usually take the team out for lunch, or I'll just send them a bone, like, you've been doing a good job, and I'll PayPal them $50. Like, this is like my fun money kind of like budget that I pull from this. But hey, that's for somebody who's charging even maybe $150 a month. That's 2 memberships if you get 300 from this therapist. So like, find a way where you can send each other business and then get like a piece of it, right? Like, I'm just not going to send you them for free. Like, it's a lead. What would you pay for a lead? Would you pay $20? Because guess what? I'm only asking for that first $20 on that first massage. If she gets them rebooked and reoccurring, I don't get any of it, right? Like, it's just that first intro. I sent you a lead and now, give me a piece of that. Like, what would you pay for a lead? And if you get a really good negotiation, you could probably get even more. So the other one is with meal prep. We were getting hundreds of dollars a month because we did get reoccurring payouts. If they ever went in and used our promo code, they set up a special promo code for us, it was like LTW client. The client got 10% off. So they were incentivized to use that every time at checkout. Meanwhile, we got a kickback of 10% for their total value of their purchase. So they bought like 12 meals, we got that, or if they got 3 meals, we got that. So like, we had clients that got hooked on this local meal prep company and still used it every single month. And we negotiated that affiliate payout that we send you business. You wouldn't have had this business without us. What are we going to get? 10% of their checkout. And you're just going to send me, a check every single month. And every month we get that. Again, are these giant gobs of money? No, but like, this is where you get to the optimization. First, get to break even and profitable on your main membership. Don't mess with this little stuff till you got well above, profit. But these are things that when you're removed from the day to day, the owner can go out and have these conversations and make these deals and do these handshakes, right? The third and final one I'll share with you guys is hormone replace therapy. Like that's becoming more and more of a thing. We have a therapy replacement center that we send people to when we feel like they need it, that they're working out and they're doing everything, but like they just seem super stressed out or something's off, so to speak, with their body. They go get it checked out. 9 times out of 10, something's low, and they don't need to immediately jump into testosterone shots. Like a lot of times it's vitamin, like they're just low in magnesium or DHEA, and they get them on a supplement plan, and that's it. They don't. That's why we liked working with them, because it feels like everyone's ready to hand out needles and TRT these days, and we're like, we want to work with a place that will be, objective and give you the right things first: food, supplements, sleep recommendations. And then when you finally hit a wall that your body's no longer producing it, then we'll talk about these synthetic things. So that's why we send them people. But this is, again, another affiliate payout, that when someone does pay, they are pretty much signing up for a subscription. They pay us a subscription payout every single month. So these are little things, but hey, like I said, they add up over time, and you guys factor in all these things. I mean, again, you change the weekly billing, you upsell your members, you put in that annual facility fee, you got freeze and cancel fees, you kill off like slow payroll, for slow sessions, you hit up your past members, you set up these affiliate payouts. These are the hidden things that a lot of gyms are missing out on. I just wanted to share them with you guys because we want to help you make money. Before we wrap up though, Kim, I was going to share what we've done to find hidden money that failed, because I don't want to make it sound like indestructible and everything we've done has worked and we are just like all great. We've had failures too. And so I got a few I was going to share, but I'll let you share first. Is there anything you've done to try to sell that like was a big flop and we had to shut it down?
Yeah, so we, like most gyms, we do sell supplements. We sell, vegan protein and stuff like that in the studio, and people are always buying it. So we started a subscribe and save program where you could save 15% if you subscribe, do that monthly subscription. And we made all the stuff, and we're all geared up about it. And it just didn't take off. It just didn't, it didn't go well. People maybe weren't going through the products in time, or they wanted to constantly, I think the biggest thing is they wanted to change their flavor every single month, which, I was trying to figure out the logistics of it, but then it kind of defeats the purpose of being able to have the same products so that you can order them ahead of time. So it was just one of those things where it just didn't stick. It wasn't good. So we had to scratch that.
Funny, the same thing for us. We had something called the subscription. And it just didn't, nobody stayed on it. They all abandoned ship. So I think like our supplements were good. I just think it's a mindset thing. The clients tag you as the place they go to work out, not their supplement store. Like for whatever reason, they feel like that's from Amazon or Costco or a supplement store. Some do, but for some reason, it's just like a smaller amount that like want to buy it regularly. So if you're really pushing it, again, if you're really like hardcore into supplements and you're constantly doing tastings and you're demoing it and you're doing sales on it, I think you can move a good amount. But like it wasn't something that we were successful at getting clients to stay on us. We call it a subscription, supplement subscription. Cheesy, I know, but like nobody stayed on it. I got online coaching. Again, I think that people think of a brick and mortar as a brick and mortar business, and when you go online, for whatever reason, it's a harder sell. When someone was an online coach, it was like easier for them to sell online coaching. But like, I don't know. I think again, it's how people put you in a box. Like it's funny because 98% of Walmart's business happens in their brick and mortars, even though they have a website, walmart.com, with all the stuff and you can have it shipped to your house. It only makes up for 2% of their sales. And I think it's because they make in their brain, Walmart is a place I go to. It's not a website I browse on, right? And then Amazon tried launching some brick and mortar stores in Portland and in San Francisco, and they were huge flops. And they went to places that were specifically tech friendly, thinking they would get on board with this Amazon brick and mortar. And you'd walk in with your card, you load all your stuff, and you walk out. No register needed because you log in on the cart with your Amazon and it registers somehow. Whatever you put in the cart, you can walk out. They're thinking this is revolutionary. Nobody wanted it because like Amazon is not a brick and mortar store. It's a website. Like you're my website, Amazon. Stop trying to get into something else, right? So that's the only explanation I have of why online coaching doesn't tend to do so great. If an owner's crushed with online coaching, I'm totally open to it and hearing how you did it, but I just couldn't figure that game out. I think during COVID and, when everyone's doing online coaching, we peaked at 15 to 20 online coaching clients. And then as the gym opened up, a lot of them were members and they canceled and came back into the gym and they just didn't want anything to do with it. Right. So that is another failure. I'll throw one more in here, and that is corporate wellness. All right. A lot of gyms just have this pie in the sky idea that they're going to fill up their gym and they're going to have this company or corporation pay for all their employees to go there. I've yet to see them do that for a coach-led studio. I've seen them do this for big box. They will pay for everyone to go to a $10 Planet Fitness, but when you're charging $150, $200, $350 a month, most companies are not willing to eat that bill. And unfortunately, hopefully it changes in time, but right now I just have not seen it done successfully. I've seen gyms get a lot of clients from a company, but they're paying for themselves. I've not seen corporate wellness, meaning a corporation pays it. If anything, they might build a gym in their HQ or facility, but they're not going to pay for you to go to a third party, because their number one business isn't to go around and vet companies and then pay these companies. They want to run their business, right? That's what they're focused on. So another failed attempt. Now, I went and got speaking gigs. I got photos of me in front of a group of people. That was good for corporate, education, but I never, hit that home run with corporate wellness. So that's another failure I'll share with you guys. Anything else that comes to mind on your, past failures?
So this one is totally on me, and I thought about it when you were talking, and it's just because I'm not good at this. So if you're going to do something like this, you have to actually be good at it. We don't sell workout clothing in the studio because the amount of stock that you have to keep just doesn't make any sense. There's too many products, there's too many sizes. So you can become an affiliate with an online, where people order it themselves. But if you are like me and you're not very good with social media, keeping up with that all the time for that extra stuff and constantly sending those offers out to members and reminding them that it's there, nobody's going to buy it, right? So that's something that I still have. I still am an affiliate with this company, and they're amazing. They make amazing clothes, but it's on me because I just, there's so many other things to do on a daily basis that kind of takes priority over that I never actually remember to send those things out in the first place. So I'll put that in the failure category, even though I'm going to blame myself for that. It could be successful, but you got to be the type of person who's going to work it or put someone else in charge of that for you.
And again, we're talking about low dollar, let's say you make $5 a shirt, and even
Right.
100 of them, you made a 500 whopping dollars, that's moving the needle in your business. It's just not worth the time to
It's not worth it.
order it. It's just just don't even worry about that in the beginning. Get a basic shirt if you want with your logo and call it a day, right? You got to sell memberships. You got to coach people. You got to get, results. That's the primary driver. So, all right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap there. If you guys need help with this, we want to help you out. Included with Gym Reinforcement Services is business coaching. So we'll help you find all these hidden sources of money so that you can stop stepping over them every day and start picking them up and start putting it in your pocket. So if you guys want to book a call, go to gymreinforcements.com, and we'll see you on the next episode. Later. Gym owners, I want to officially invite you into my free Facebook group just for you. It's called Fitness Sales Made Simple. And essentially, I'm sharing free resources in there all the time to help you grow your business. Doesn't matter to me if you ever work with Gym Reinforcements, you can gather all kinds of cool content and tools and resources. We have free webinar trainings, free guides, free lead magnets, free scripts that you can send out to make sales, and it's all in the group. So go ahead and click on the link in the description and you could get inside and get these free tools. See you on the inside.